friend Mitch sat down with us to recount his experience with Hurricane Isaias when he was anchored at Mile Hammock Bay near Camp Lejeune. We wanted to share this with everyone as a testament to Mitch's bravery, grit, and perseverance.
The storm was coming. It was actually projected to hit more like Charleston, way south of where I was. So I thought I'd be good. I was going to put 300 foot of chain out in about 10 foot of water. And I had a lot of turning space. I was the only one in that little bay. And when the hurricane was coming in, you could watch the winds, When it got up to about 65 sustained and 75 gusts, I was still holding really good. By that time it was dark and there was so much rain, it was like coming underneath I was going underneath a waterfall. Then a burst of wind hit me on my starboard side and buried my port rail. My mast was in the water. Popped me all the way over. Then I popped back up. That happened 3 times in a row, pretty fast succession. And then a really big gust hit me on the same side. I started moving fast. I could feel the acceleration down in the boat below. And I dragged about 300 feet of chain, about 300 yards in a minute and a half, straight into the rocks. Bam! Hit hard, really hard. And then I banged again, and then I banged again, and so I knew I was breaking up, or trying to break up, so I just opened the hatch and stuck my head up. Of course, I couldn't see anything. And grabbed Moby, which was the only thing I could grab, and jumped in the water, made it over the rocks, and I went into the woods there at Camp Lejeune. And I'm telling you, that wind was blowing so hard that raindrops felt like knives in my body. I was barefoot, had a pair of board shorts on and a t-shirt, that's it. And got in the woods there, and I was hunkered down in those woods, of course, trying to find some shelter. And I mean, there were snakes it was pretty wild. And after about an hour of that, the heliport, which was not too far away from where I was at, knew where I was at. I guess they saw that microburst. They call it a microburst. They didn't call it a tornado. So they sent a truckload of Marines over there to check on the boat. Of course, I was on the rocks and wasn't in the boat. I saw their headlights, so I came running out and banged on the window. And they took me over to the Marine base, fed me, and gave me some dry clothes. And then I walked back over to the boat in the morning, and yeah, from there it was a struggle because I didn't have any communication. My cell phone was out, and that's a remote part of the base. You can't come to that. You can't come to where I was at without military clearance. So yeah, I was kind of snookered on that. I was on the port side damage. I couldn't see what the damage was, so I managed to get the boat flipped over on the starboard side and saw the damage on the port side, which was pretty extensive. And Gina and Rachel on Perseverance they got stuck in the middle of it down in Southport, about 50 miles south of me. And after they got themselves out of their predicament, they came up 50 miles and turned into that harbor. By that time, I'd been living on a boat that was essentially sunk, and then over the woods for a couple of days. And they brought me on their boat, and we staged up rescue operations, tried to off of Gino's boat. He had all the material to try to patch everything. We tried the best we could, but there was just no way. We didn't have access to any resources, no pumps. And after 3 or 4 days, yeah, I just had to call it well, they had to get back. I just had to call it call it a quits. So I lost everything on that boat there. I spent about 3.5 years restoring it completely on the hull. Everything was new. I'd been in the water about 1.5 years, and I just got to the point where everything was dead nuts. As a liverboard, everybody that's living on a boat knows what I'm talking about. And then that happened. So in the blink of an eye, that was it. Story. But I mean, yeah, it was just a wrong place at the wrong time scenario. I mean, that tornado came. That was when it was all over.